All right, I guess we're live then. Would you maybe not do that and instead find out if you can in fact hear me on this? I guess we should turn the lights on too. Good, they do work. Can you hear me at all? Oh, we still have a garbage can down here. I got to get one. Are you turning that off now? All right. Gonna finish off the year cleaning up my leather armor. Can you see me? Better? My wife is behind the camera assisting me. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, type them out. Let her know. I'm assuming nobody's watching yet. Didn't think so. I'm not even going to talk then. Well, I guess this is technically recording, isn't it? Don't they record automatically? Oh, well, just in case they do, I guess I'll talk a little bit. A lot of stuff stuffed in here, but the majority of what I'm going to care about today is my leather armor. I'm pretty sure this is alcohol. Yep, that's alcohol. Because it's been a few weeks since I last touched any of this stuff, and it's just been kind of sitting outside. So it may have started to get a little bit of surface mold, but a little bit of alcohol, wipe it off. No big deal. If anything happens, you are going to tell me, right?
Yes.
Okay. I would like it if you would respond out loud. So a lot of the fabric stuff, like I said, I'm not going to care about today. It could probably all go in the laundry, but guess I could kill some time doing this. See if anybody shows up. I got all kinds of. I'm packing out of the last fair. I just kind of threw a whole bunch of stuff in here. So I've got horse costuming, horse equipment, costume pieces, and then mostly my leather stuff. Some of these are muddy. Should probably put them in the wash. Gloves. My chainmail's in here too. I'm not really going to do any maintenance on that right now. It's mostly aluminum. So that means maintenance is a lot easier. It doesn't rust or tarnish in any way. I do have to do something though. There's a huge hole in the elbow of one of my arms. I'm going to be rebuilding the sleeves entirely at some point in the near future. So that can be a later problem. I'm assuming still nobody.
Not yet. I did test out the chat feature and it works.
Oh, cool. Good to know. Try to keep an eye on this too. The light goes out, switch to the other one. They only charged for like an hour. I probably should have been better prepared for this. Oh yeah, that'd be cool. Well, if you're tuning in for leather work, I'm not doing any at the moment. I'm killing a little bit of time so that people can jump on but feel free to ask questions, make comments. That's the whole point of this. These are leg wraps for horses, if anyone was wondering. I got them mostly to be aesthetic, but they do also help. They're basically athletic wraps. And they're quite dusty. But I'll run them through the wash. They'll be fine. So most of this live stream is going to be cleaning up my armor, getting some oil on it, packing it a little bit nicer into my tub. Once again, I'm not as prepared as I should have been for this, but I'm also going to get some humidity control things, little damp rid baskets, put them in there so that while it sits and waits for me to use it again, which is probably not going to be until sometime in March at the Scarborough Fair in Texas. Hopefully it won't mold or do anything weird. I got one more of these and then we'll start on the leather. Any comments yet? Nothing? Didn't think so. I was wrong. 2 more. Ah, never mind. These ones are already rolled. Saves us heaps of time. They can go over here with the rest of the horse costuming. Oh yeah, this is in here too. This is a gorget I made. I don't really use it that much. That's why it looks a little smushed in here. But it'll get some oil too. Get these cleaned up. Old scripts. These are useless now. They'll get thrown in the garbage. Put them over on that for right now. All right. So like I said, I'm packing this stuff up for probably a couple of months. So I want it to be nice, well oiled, well cleaned. There it comes. Any questions? Leave them in the comments, and I'll get to them as they come in. Get everything a little organized, and then we'll start doing the thing. I'm mostly staying in frame, right? Cool. There's nothing really there. It's just a bit. I'm going to be doing most of the work here. Can you tell if we have anybody watching? Oh, all right. So there really is no point in me talking. I got to replace these. I didn't realize that. If anybody does start listening, sorry for coughing. I got a bit of a bug this week. Annoying little cough. All right, greaves, arms, pouch. With arms. You are my sword sheath. Eventually, you need to get a sword in it. At some point, help me remember I need to fix my mic pouch because it broke at some point. Might work. Probably doesn't. It's a later problem. Couple of metal shoulders. Those are also aluminum, so not really much in the way of maintenance for those. These are the gloves that I do the show in. These are actually just like $10, $12 work gloves I got from Knightmare. If I recall correctly, the label said they were pigskin. And then for these, for gloves, I just kind of smush the oil on like I'm washing my hands. It's kind of the easiest way to do it as far as I can tell. This is neat's foot oil, which I tend to like using. I've talked to some like saddle makers and stuff. They like olive oil. There's all kinds of conditioners and cleaners out there. Experiment with them, see what you like. I tend to like the neat's foot oil. All right, gloves are done. That was easy. And then I'll put the neat's foot oil into just, this is one of those like chemical spray bottles. You get this at anywhere, Walmart, Home Depot. This is a little strap I use for hanging legs. My legs will hang off of this. This is like an extra one. It's been sitting in here for I don't know how long. It has A little bit of that surface mold on it, I think. So alcohol should kill anything, and then the alcohol is good for the leather too, because it evaporates so quickly, it doesn't really soak in, and so you're not going to have any like leftover remaining moisture stuck inside here. And then this will just a couple people tuned in, sounds good. And then it'll just get some oil. Again, that neat's foot oil. I'm waiting to get to the big fancy stuff until there's a few more folk watching. If you have any questions about anything on the table, ask in the comments. Any questions about what I'm doing, happy to answer. That's kind of the whole point. This little guy, this microphone pouch, I wear it on my belt. Holds the microphone. These are just some rags. We just found them. Piled up in our stuff. You can use anything for this. I wouldn't use paper towels. They would definitely not hold up to rubbing on this. But this is just like, it's like a t-shirt material rag. And that's that for that one. I just give this. This is like a bigger pouch that I made for myself because I needed one. I made this last year for Orlando, I think, for the Orlando Renaissance Fair, because my wife and I were going to patron there, and it was the day before, so like Friday or Saturday, whatever day it was, and I was like, wait a minute, I don't have a pouch, so I couldn't carry any of my stuff. So I threw one together real quick, and that was the result. It's just a nice, simple pouch, big enough to hold phone, wallet, keys. Nothing fancy. It's just effective. Again, sorry for the coughing. I gotta start wearing these more. These are demi gauntlets that I make, but I tend to forget about them. They usually wind up at the bottom of my bag. There's a little alcohol to get that surface mold. It's only been, how long has it been? 2 weeks, 3 weeks since I probably stuffed this in the box. Something like that. I forget what most of this stuff is finished with, as in the top coat. Most of this armor is, well, all of it is veg tan leather. I want to say like 9 ounce, somewhere in that range, 9-10. It's all veg tan, but then I finished a lot of it, a large portion of it. I know the chest, and I'm pretty sure the legs. I forget about the shoulders. Chest and legs I finished with leather balm with atom wax from Fibings, I think, puts it out. You'll have to, don't quote me on that. I get it at Tandy Leather. I get everything at Tandy Leather. But then I think I ran out. Oh man, did this break? Oh no, it didn't break. It was just folded under. But then I ran out, or it went bad or something. And so everything after those was finished with the acrylic Resolene. So The Resolene is acrylic, basically plastic, so not much gets through that. It's good for waterproofing. So the oil on the surface of some of these things, I know my greaves are covered in that, might not penetrate too much, but I leave the underside, the flesh side, I leave that unfinished, undyed, so oil will get in there through that. Any questions, comments yet? Nothing. Couple viewers though. Fantastic. Well, welcome. I don't know how long you've been here, but welcome. And then just give it a rub down with a good cloth. And it's going to be a lot of that for the rest of this video. Just me cleaning my leather jousting armor. We'll talk a little bit more about it when I get to the bigger pieces. But I made it all myself. The idea for it was actually inspired by a historical set of jousting armor that we saw at the Metropolitan Museum in New York a couple years ago. At this point is when we went. It was pretty neat. And when we get to the chest piece and the shoulders, I'll show you exactly what it was that inspired me about it. All right. Demi gauntlet's done with. Let's just go ahead and move up the arm. Next is one of the bracers I use. So I use two types of bracers with this armor. This one goes on my right arm. It's just a pretty standard bracer. And then my left arm gets this guy. It's a style called a Bazoo band, and it comes up over the elbow. It's a little bigger, a little bulkier. And that's kind of the name of the game with this armor. One side is bigger and beefier. So it's the side that I'm supposed to be taking the hits on, the left side. And that was the thing that I thought was pretty cool about that historical armor. It was asymmetrical. Everything about it. The shoulder was bigger on this side. The arm was in hand. The gauntlet was less articulated. And I found that pretty interesting. And I wanted to duplicate that in mine. Still on, I think. Still showing green. I don't know if you can see the color, but the inside of this one is colored silver from my chainmail. A little bit of the aluminum rubs off, I guess. You can really tell the difference in the grain of the flesh side. The flesh side, that oil's already absorbed straight into it. I don't do this kind of a deep cleaning on my armor nearly as often as I should. But it holds up because I beat this stuff up. The rivets are usually the only thing that, well, the thing that most often goes bad because they're just rapid rivets. You can see how rusty they get. So those will give out well before the leather does, and I'm planning on correcting that on future versions of this armor, which was another thing I was going to mention during this live stream. Large portion of my videos in this upcoming year are going to be the process of me rebuilding a brand new set of leather armor. I've had this for 2 years now. I've had this one, something like that. I've had this for 2 years. It was kind of always meant to be more of a prototype and figure out the kinks and bits and pieces of it, make sure stuff fit right, make sure stuff functioned well. And then I was going to upgrade it. And I think I'm at that point. So this coming year, I'm going to be upgrading all of this to a brand new Latigo leather set. So come back and check out those videos as they go up starting in January. Going to try to do the same thing I did last year. I'm going to have one video every month. Should go up the first Wednesday of every month, if anybody noticed that. But that's when all my videos went up this year, except for this last month when I decided to do a live stream instead. And so far, it's been going well. So I actually have two of the bazoo bands. They're in a pair because usually I'll wear just the bazoo bands in the first or second show of the day, or just if I'm walking around. And then I go to the full set for the second or third show every day when we're at a fair. These actually don't look too bad as far as any mold. So they'll just get a good douse of oil. Once again, anybody who's watching, leave a comment, ask a question. That's the secondary purpose of this live stream, is to have that happen. You guys ask me stuff and I answer. The first purpose is making sure that I actually clean my equipment for once. This is my left arm. It's a lot more beat up than my right arm one because it gets a lot more use and abuse, because this is the one I wear when I'm actually doing the jousting, the fighting, the rolling around. The other one's usually just for if I'm just riding or just walking around the fair. So this gets real beat up. But 2 years, I've only had to replace this strap. Even the stitching is not giving up. So that's good. Quality equipment. Stick all these together. Oh, and then this was the elbow cop. This goes above that bracer on my right arm, so I get the elbow covered on that side too. What's next? Legs. These are big bits of leather. Comfortable to wear as far as I'm concerned. Give them a quick wipe with the alcohol just because I brought the stuff out. Might as well use it. I think I'm my next version of these legs. To make the curve of the knee cop, it's got this strip here sewn down on top of the cutout in the back. I don't think I'm going to do that next time. I think I'm just going to stitch them together more like these are. Just because I feel like it. I don't think it's going to change the function of them in any significant way. Looks okay to me. What time are we at? Awesome. Hey, Chris, how you doing? I had a feeling you'd be somebody watching. It's my buddy Chris. He's another jousting knight that I work with. He's been doing a lot of cool stuff this year. Jousted Texas Renaissance Fair, the largest Ren fair in the country, and I think even the world too. So if you were at TRF, you saw him, and I think he did a great job. I wasn't there. I just think that. I don't know if he did or not. Enjoy your sushi, Chris, and a live stream of me cleaning leather while you do it. Chelsea says hi, Jenna. Five, you said? Very cool. That's the second leg. Finish off the legs. These are the greaves. I think these are another thing I'm going to not redesign, but use a different pattern. I like this pattern. It's from the War Factory on Etsy. It's really nice. Really good, solid. I love all their patterns. They're great. But there's another one that I'm going to try. It's just a slightly different design from another maker on there. So stay tuned for that video and we'll see how that goes. See if I wind up liking it. If I don't, I'll go back to this. One of the main reasons, it's probably hard to tell, but this is where the lames from the knee overlap, and they've been rubbing, and this is one spot where my stitching is giving out. It's still holding together enough, and then it's got all of this plus above, but I think I'm going to try that other design because then it's going to be stitched kind of more on these sides, I think, if I recall correctly. And so maybe this won't rub out so much, because I think these are the last thing I made. This is the last bit of the first prototype model that I made, and they're the first one that's kind of giving out. It's just the stitching. And the War Factory, their stuff is really good. One of the reasons I like it is that they are functional pieces of armor. Since I need it to function, that's good. But I don't know if they ever intended their patterns to be used for hardcore jousting and sword fighting. That's an option as well. Comment just said, put a plate up here, which is the thing that I might do this second version. Not this plate, but there are other spots on it that I'd like to get a bit of aluminum put on. When we get to the shoulders up here, this has a halt. This one shoulder has a halt on it, and this one being made out of leather, it's kind of floppy. Doesn't really do what I want it to do. So this is one bit that I'm going to try and see if I can get a bit of aluminum and bend it up here. See if I can talk my wife into doing that. She's the metalsmith. And then I might have a couple other bits and pieces of metal on it, just to give it a bit of a cool look. And have it function slightly better in some bits. You know, this is supposed to be a halt. It's supposed to be a protective armor, and it's just kind of a floppy piece of whatever right now. But that's one of the bits that I was experimenting with as I made this set initially. That's why I wanted to do it. Do a prototype version first and then move on to the good stuff. Speaking of which, this is the chest bit with the shoulders on it. And again, you can see that asymmetry I was going for. Left side, big old beefy shoulder. Right side, smaller shoulder, more lames, more articulated, asymmetrical. I'm going to make it even more in the next version. This big shoulder on this one, I've got these two lames. But on the next version, I'm going to have the big piece, and then down here just have one big rear brace. And then the bazoo band on the second half of the arm. And then this is where one plate, so this is that halt up here. I'm going to try to get that out of aluminum. There's another spot right here meant for a big plate with some sort of a design. See if that I can make that work with a bit of aluminum as well. This is the only other spot where stitching's been giving away. This shoulder's been kind of starting to separate, but pretty sure that's my fault. Again, not the pattern. I should have just done a better job stitching it. Also, it's been 2 years of hard work. Another bit where chainmail's been rubbing off on it. So that's going to be the main bit of videos this year, is going to be me remaking this armor kit. Also have a couple other projects planned. I've got a couple big circles of a really thick, like something ridiculous, like 12, 14 ounce nonsense that I got for, I don't even remember why. But I've got it cut into some big circles, and I'm going to try making, I'm going to get some plywood and try making shields. Probably a couple of them, do some carvings. I've got some that are small, so they'll be more like bucklers, and I've got the biggest one is a decent shield size. But one of the ones in between is going to become a sign for my wife's business, the Alchemy Valkyrie. If you haven't checked her out yet, go check her out. She'll be vending at all sorts of Renaissance fairs this year, just like she did last year. She did a fantastic job. And she's going to do another fantastic job this year, aren't you? She's too embarrassed to talk, even though definitely can't hear her or see her right now. She's adorable. And an awesome jewelry maker. Check her out. The Alchemy Valkyrie. But yeah, see how this, it's supposed to be up like this, looking cool and being a halt. But it's leather, so it flops down. This is another bit. It was originally flipped and on this side of here, but then the first time I put it on, it just stabbed me in the neck every time I did anything with my arm. So it didn't really work. So I flipped it around, worked better, and I tried to make it out of metal. See what the hell happens. What? Chelsea says she appreciates your encouraging word, but she's flipping you off. That good old Wallachian hello. Or Wallachian howdy, whatever the hell you say. I don't listen to you. So that's the big shoulder done. Who's that? Quiet on set. Her phone rang. I was like bothering her. And then this is the main bit of the chest. It's one big piece up top. I call it the gorget. That's not really the gorget. Certain people I know would be all, that's not a blah, blah, blah. And I don't care. I call crap what I want to call crap. But then this bit back here is curling up. This piece was never a good piece of leather at any point. It's flipped up weird. So all that's going to get replaced. Huh? The gorget. That's the one. Neck greave, as some people say. It's a running joke in the joust camp. Everything is a greave. Got your leg greaves, your arm greaves, your neck greave. It's mostly a running joke because the guy we work for gets annoyed by stuff like that. So we keep saying it to keep annoying him. Wow, a lot of these rivets are really rusty. I said I was going to fix that in the next version as well. Tandy has started producing aluminum rivets that are like the peening style rivets, which if you watch my video on how to do rivets, set some copper ones. So it's those kinds of rivets, the rivet and burr sets, but they're making them out of aluminum now. So they'll be a little bit stronger because it's a much stronger kind of rivet, but then they won't tarnish, rust, or go bad because they're aluminum.
Chris said, are you planning on having the orange and blue stuff done for Skype?
Are we going to make orange and blue? I assume you mean horse costuming. Orange and blue horse costuming was the question. And we may try to do that. I certainly want my horse costuming done. Right now, all I have is a saddle blanket and then a little bit of trappings for the back end that can't attach to the saddle blanket yet. But I'd love to get a whole comparison made. And if it's done for Scarborough Ren Fair in Texas, that'd be great. I'd love it. And then if they don't mind me jousting in blue and orange, I guess I could. I jousted in black and yellow there last year. So I don't know if they want to maintain any kind of consistency and just have me be black and yellow in Scarborough every year, or if they'll be happy that I have my own stuff now and I can joust in the blue and orange. I don't particularly care what colors I joust in. They're not, I don't want to say they're meaningless to me, but I certainly don't put as much worry into it as some folk do. So I'll joust in blue and orange, black and yellow, whatever winds up happening. It's still going to be me. Huh? Yeah, costuming is her job. She's got a new sewing machine, so.
And we no longer have our next fair, so we have a longer fair.
And our next fair got canceled recently. I don't know if anyone on here is familiar with the Brevard Renaissance Fair, but we did just receive word it's canceled for this year, unfortunately, which sucks. We're gonna miss it, but it is what it is, and you move on. That's all we really need to say about that. This was the actual gorget I made. I tried hanging metal arms off of it, and that did not work at all. So I may try to wear it. I may try to remake it and incorporate it into this, but if I do, I'm probably not going to put this neck bit on. I'll just have this, and then because I wear chainmail hood, it's under here with this armor for the jousting, and it looks a little weird when you wear the chainmail with that gorget. I think it's fine, but it's not great. Moving on to my frogs for my sword and my dagger. This frog is the newest bit of equipment that just made this one. Did I make it in Colorado? I must have had it in Colorado. It's when I got my dagger. Did I make it in Pennsylvania? Might not have made it until Pennsylvania, but I got the dagger in Colorado. And I designed it to hang on my right hip so that I could draw it with my left hand, because it's my dagger, it's my offhand weapon. My sword sits on my right hip, which is generally speaking where your sword goes. Most people are right-handed.
That said, I want to say you started in Colorado.
I probably started it in Colorado. And this was the first version of that frog I made, again, to kind of experiment, work out the kinks, and now they're pretty good. They're pretty functional. Works for me, certainly. And when I have my leather for sale at the Ren fairs, people will ask me about it, and I'll tell them I use it for real. All of my stuff gets thrown on the ground, rolled on, covered in sand. And then usually by the end of the day, I'm too damn tired to really care about cleaning it super properly. So a lot more wear and tear than any normal patron's going to put on it. I'll tell you that much. All right, and then last couple bits are coming up. I'm gonna do my belts. I'm gonna be, I don't have to, and originally I don't think I was going to remake my belts, but these are a couple of years old at least. They're a little stretched out. I'm a little stretched out. So I'm probably gonna remake them out of that same good Latigo that I'm gonna make everything else out of. I bought 2 hides of it. So going to be remaking the belts as well. I might make this one just a little bit wider. I think I made this one 2 inches wide. I think I'm going to make it 2.5 to be a full inch bigger than my long belt, which is your normal belt, 1.5 inch width. And again, if anybody's tuning in, I haven't mentioned it in a while. This is just Neat's Foot oil. You can buy it probably anywhere. I get it from Tandy. Huh? Spell Neat's Foot. The way it sounds, Neat, Neat, S, foot, Foot. Neat's Foot. I don't know why it's called that. If somebody wants to Google that and tell me, go ahead. I might Google it later if I'm bored. That's what it's called, and I tend to like it. That's the wide belt. Missed a bit of these straps. All right, and this is my long belt. I like the long belt. This is what my sword hangs on. You wrap it around twice. Your sword hangs here, but the weight gets carried by your opposite hip. That's what the wraparound does. So it makes it a little more comfortable, a little more easy to carry. How do I want to do this? And that's pretty much all of it clean. Oiled. And then I think I mentioned this at the beginning. I'm a little underprepared for this in that I'm gonna get some damp rid stuff that like pulls moisture out of the air. You put it in your fridge, put it, places where you don't want moisture. I'm gonna stick one of them in here as well, so that if any humidity gets in there, it'll get pulled out of the air, and then this stuff won't mold or mildew. And that's that. So I'm going to take a few minutes, pack this away. What time are we at? 58. Hey, we made an hour. That's about what I wanted to do. So if anybody wants last minute questions, keep the stream going while I start to pack up. Appreciate everybody who did tune in. Oversprayed a little bit, got some oil all over a plastic box. I don't like wasting stuff, but this stuff isn't the most expensive thing ever. And just spraying that up spray bottles a lot easier than trying to be super stingy. This is the other good thing about pulling all this stuff out and cleaning it up good. It's going to get packed pretty good because it was kind of just thrown in there before. So a lot of it was mushed and misshapen. Now I'll lay it in there a little bit nicer, a little bit neater. It'll hold its shape better, and I won't have to worry about it looking stupid when I come pull this out in a couple months. Goes in there. Sword sheet's going to stay out because my sword's going to go in it. Chainmail shirt's going to go in here. Hopefully I remember to fix it before the next time I use it. Don't anybody hold your breath about that. And then put the rest of this in here. These are my trappings that got put together. Hard to see what they're supposed to look like. Right there it is. Supposed to go like that on the horse's butt. And then these will go up under the saddle pad, and I think they'll look fine. But we got to get them finished up, and hopefully I'll get a whole comparison made. This is the blanket my wife made. It's awesome. It's exactly what I wanted. She did a great job. Oh, these bits need to go in the laundry, so I'm not going to put them in right now. All right, and that's it. Throw the lid on this. We'll call that a live stream. Thanks again, anybody made comments. All Christian of you. And stay tuned. Look forward to some of those videos coming up soon. Coming out starting January, first Wednesday. And that's that. Done. Turn it off. Where the hell is the lid? Here it is.